The old records never spoke of the spatial crack in such detail, how 10,000 beasts, black skulls, and forgotten passages could vanish lives as easily as a candle snuffs out. Yet, in the silent chronicles of the Cloud Sea, a single name now etched itself into the pages: Wang Lin. On the back of the nine-abyss dragon, he pierced the darkness with a calm that belied the horrors surrounding him, each step forward revealing both the scale of the crack and the faint, haunting traces of Li Qianmei's journey. Shadows twisted into purple, the beast's roars faded before his divine sense, and the jade's path whispered secrets of forgotten spells. Renegade Immortal, chapter 1295-1296 begins here, where the edge of the purple realm trembles, and the first real clue of Li Qianmei flickers into view. Blood-stained, sword in hand, a figure racing through time itself. What waits beyond the next turn of this dark, twisting passage could rewrite fate itself. The air was thick with tension, a palpable hush that seemed to stretch across the heavens and earth alike. In the shadowed depths of the demon sect's spatial rift, a single figure moved with a presence that made the blood of even the bravest cultivators run cold. Wang Lin, clad in white, hair like freshly fallen snow, had appeared only moments ago, yet his arrival had shaken the very core of the battlefield. Within that fleeting instant, chaos had bent to his will. Ferocious beasts lay broken, the obsidian skulls of evil extinguished. With sheer force of will, he had torn the spatial crack wider, tamed the legendary nine-abyss dragon, and clashed with an elder of the demon sect, a clash that left the elder reeling with a hidden wound. Thousands of cultivators, peering from beyond the crack, trembled as the echoes of his deeds reached them. The image of white-clad hair and an unyielding gaze etched itself into their minds, an indelible mark they could never erase. To the denizens of the Cloud Sea, the spatial crack was a realm of paradox, familiar in its unending war, yet inscrutable in its boundless reach. Many had ventured in, lured by ambition or duty, but few ever returned. 100 might enter, yet 3 at most would emerge to speak of the darkness within. And still, the demon sect sent scouts like Li Qianmei, risking all to probe the abyss, to uncover its secrets, or to vanish into its eternal night. Wang Lin's divine sense receded from the jade in his hand, leaving him to gaze into the impenetrable black that stretched endlessly. Even with his cultivation, his vision could pierce only 1,000 feet. Beyond that, the darkness was absolute, a void of silent menace. "The path within this jade," he whispered to himself, "is a corridor carved from countless sacrifices. It is the road Li Qianmei walked, though it barely scratches the heart of this rift." Perched atop the sinuous body of the nine-abyss dragon, Wang Lin felt the pulse of its mighty form beneath him. 10,000 feet of rippling, scaled power moving faster than the eye could track, yet silent as the grave. No roar, no shockwave, just an eerie, unnatural stillness as they carved through the darkness. He melded with this shadowed realm, unmoved, calm, and resolute. Time itself seemed to blur as they pressed onward, until faint roars whispered from the distance. Not one, but many, a chorus of life forms breathing in the black. Their sound was like the hiss of the wind, a subtle threat that would unnerve even the most seasoned cultivator. Yet Wang Lin remained serene, recalling the decades spent as a mere stone within the heaven-defying bead, the cold, the dissipation, and then the bloodlight that rekindled his being. Warmth returned, senses awakened, and with it the memories that forged him into the cultivator he had become. It was the bloodlight that had guided him to the Lord of the Sealed Realm, that had opened the Tao path and granted him his third spell, Dream Tao. The recollection drew a sigh from him, an acknowledgement of debts owed and debts yet unpaid to those who had shaped his destiny. The darkness began to teem with movement. Shadows of beasts multiplied, growing ever more numerous with each step. Wang Lin raised his hand, summoning origin energy into a radiant golden orb. The light shot skyward like a meteor, shattering the void with a brilliance that seared the darkness. The surrounding beasts recoiled with ear-splitting roars, revealing the multitude of forms, no fewer than 10,000 fierce creatures, ranks and kinds uncountable, all shying from the brilliance. When the light faded, silence reclaimed the void, but the aura of kingship from the nine-abyss dragon kept danger at bay. Wang Lin's presence amplified its authority. his mere existence creating conflict in the minds of beasts that dared approach. He saw now the distribution of their power. Many rank 10, only a handful surpassing it. The dragon roared, its divine resonance vibrating through the rift, and charged forward. A path cleared as the beasts retreated, and the abyss yielded to their advance. Endless darkness stretched on, time lost all meaning. As they delved deeper, the blackness subtly shifted to a spectral purple, a hue that trembled the dragon's soul. It moved with reluctance, wary of the unknown that awaited. The beasts from this purple realm were numerous, and unlike those of the outer void, they pressed forward, yet none dared confront Wang Lin or the dragon. His sharp eyes caught every tremor, every hesitation, marking the edge of the purple domain mapped within the jade. The end of this passage drew near. Wang Lin's gaze pierced the shadows as faint traces of spells brushed against his divine sense. Someone had been here recently, not beasts, but a cultivator. His heart quickened at the thought, a fragile thread connecting him to the one he sought. "Li Qianmei," he murmured, eyes blazing as he formed a seal between his brows. Power surged into his origin soul, shaking it violently, and the faint traces of spellcraft responded, weaving themselves before his sight. Darkness fractured into vertical streaks, revealing patterns unseen. The flow of time itself seemed to twist under his command. Flowing time, reverse. With his command, the void writhed, the temporal lines danced, coalescing into shape, and then through the twisting chaos of the spatial crack a figure emerged, a woman in white. Her face was deathly pale, her robes stained with shocking streaks of blood. In one hand, she gripped a long sword. A golden pen circled her, tracing her desperate flight through the void. The legend of the abyss had just begun to unveil its secrets, and in the still heart of darkness, Wang Lin's eyes burned with purpose, ready to meet destiny itself. In the silent void, a figure moved like a wisp of mist, frail, almost skeletal, yet bearing a spirit that refused to die. Her face was pale as winter moonlight, her body so thin that each step seemed a struggle against the very air itself. Ahead, a shadow, long and whip-like, coiled through the emptiness, aiming directly at the woman draped in white. With a sudden, fluid motion, the woman's sword arced through the void, colliding with the shadow in a clash that shook the surrounding emptiness. A roar of thunder echoed, and crimson bloomed across her lips, blood coughed from her mouth, painting the pale night with fleeting streaks of life. Yet she pressed on, vanishing into the yawning depths of the void, the shadow relentless in its pursuit. The void itself quivered, twisted, as if protesting their passage. Spells and protective barriers crumbled into fragments, scattering like sparks. And in that chaotic moment, Wang Lin's eyes blazed with an intoxicating mixture of excitement and madness. "Li Qianmei!" he cried. Though her form had changed, gaunt and fragile, recognition struck him like lightning. It was her. Even in this pitiful shell of her former self, it was undeniably Li Qianmei. The sight tore at his heart with merciless precision. Pain erupted within him, so fierce it shattered his calm, igniting his divine sense into a storm of fury. The storm surged through the nine-abyss dragon, which trembled and exhaled 2 scorching blasts of breath, propelling itself forward despite its quivering form. The dragon's pace quickened, cutting through the void toward the jagged depths of the spatial rift. Yet even as it charged, its soul quavered on the brink of collapse, as though this place were forbidden. Sacred yet deadly, a realm beyond even its audacity. A mournful roar tore from the dragon's throat, halting its advance. It quivered in terror, ignoring Wang Lin's command. A cold, penetrating energy swept through the purple expanse like a sinister wind. Freezing the dragon's resolve, fear gripped it utterly. Even Wang Lin's eyes, aflame with determination, widened with concern. He raised his hand, revealing a jade that pulsed faintly, Li Qianmei's soul jade. A piercing crack echoed through the void, widening with agonizing slowness. Her life force flickered, frail and almost extinguished. Wang Lin's chest constricted with a sensation as if struck by a cruel fist. Fury surged, wild and untamed, consuming his rationality. He ignored the trembling dragon and plunged into the rift, charging toward her. Without the dragon's fearsome aura to shield him, the world reacted violently. Roars erupted, as if the purple void itself bellowed against his intrusion. Creatures of every nightmare, monstrous and merciless, converged upon him. From 1,000 feet away, a tortoise-bodied beast let out a roar that shook the void. Yet Wang Lin did not hesitate. The distance vanished in an instant. His fist, hardened by countless battles, struck true. Thunder tore through the air and the beast dissolved into a crimson mist. He surged forward, unstoppable, a whirlwind of slaughter. 10 more creatures, monstrous beyond comprehension, advanced, yet each fell beneath his relentless onslaught. Lion-like beasts collapsed. A colossal python perished beneath his foot, and a mountain-sized spider shrieked before death claimed it. The void itself seemed to rain blood in his wake. Red light burned in Wang Lin's eyes. His speed increased, his voice rose in a primal roar. Scram! 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 His right hand wove a seal, and 10 million swords appeared, slicing through the beast horde. Their cries were swallowed by the roar of combat, yet their deaths only drew more creatures. A tidal wave of rage and hunger converging upon him. In response, a blue flame erupted from his body, spreading like a living tide, incinerating all that dared approach. A sea of fire, 10,000 feet wide, enveloped him, leaving a scorched void in his wake. He advanced, each step shaking the heavens. Yet even in this brief reprieve, the void stirred again. New beasts emerged, encircling him, their numbers endless. Wang Lin's eyes chilled to steel. He raised his hand once more, summoning countless silver snakes, balls of lightning coiling and striking with precise devastation. The thunderous rumbles shook the void, and the beasts fell like wheat before a scythe. The blood-soaked path widened. He crushed foes with his fists, sliced through those who blocked him, and carved his way relentlessly toward the end of the passage marked by the jade. The cold here was a living thing, gnawing at his origin soul, seeking to slow even his mighty war-spirit print. Cracks formed, frost spread, and the colossal palm print froze into icy sculpture under the assault. From this freezing miasma, creatures born of white gas erupted, their eyes burning with ferocity surpassing any he had faced. Their charge was endless, and the air itself seemed to shiver with their hunger. Without hesitation, Wang Lin tore space open, summoning his hidden arsenal. "Mosquito beasts, appear," he commanded, and a deafening buzz rose to challenge the rules. 10,000 mosquito beasts swarmed forth, overwhelming the icy horde. A thunderous, earth-shaking slaughter ensued. Wang Lin laughed. A sound that could shake the heavens. Step by step he advanced, unstoppable, a living tempest of martial fury. Meanwhile, Li Qianmei clung to survival. Her body was pale as frost, blood staining her skirt. Magic treasures had been spent. Even her sword had been sacrificed to carve her escape. She stood encircled by the roar of countless beasts, a prisoner in a world of relentless terror. The golden pen in her hand traced runes desperately, each a fragile spark against the encroaching death, while the blue protective light flickered like a dying flame. The whip-like shadow crashed against it, and the barrier shuddered violently, breaking momentarily each time. Each breach cost her dearly, draining the last vestiges of her vitality. She felt herself dimming, a lamp flickering on the edge of extinction. "Am I to die? Has he awakened? I may never see him again, but I do not regret," she whispered, tears carving silent paths down her cheeks. She closed her eyes, surrendering to the inevitability of her fate. Then, from the distance, a sound rang out. A laugh, deep and unrelenting, shaking the heavens and the earth alike. It reverberated through Li Qianmei's very soul. Her eyes snapped open, disbelief and hope mingling in a torrent of emotion. The voice carried power, carrying promise, carrying vengeance. And in that moment the world shifted and her despair was shattered.